Let's be honest, none of you are going anywhere in life.
What?
Yo, that's messed up. So on this day, this teacher was already at her limit. Kids were talking in class, someone was playing Subway Surfers at full volume, and she snaps. She turns to the class and she says this. You know what, guys? It's clear that you do not want to learn, and let's be real. None of you are going anywhere in life anyway. The whole room freezes. People were shocked. Did she really just say that? Well, one kid stood up, and without hesitation, he says this. Clearly, you didn't go anywhere in life either. At this point, the class is losing it. She hits him with this. Sir, excuse me, you have no room to speak. You are literally failing my class. And that's when he ends her with this. Yeah, and you've been teaching this class for 19 years. You eat yogurt for lunch, still drive a 2006 Toyota Corolla, and you cry in the parking lot before second period. So I'm sorry, who's really failing here? A kid flips a chair. Oh my God. The bell rang, these students are going absolutely insane. She stands there frozen. She has no idea what the heck to do. And then as he is about to leave the classroom, he looks at her and says this. Hey, from now on, shut your mouth and let me fail in peace. See you tomorrow. And he left the room. That's absolutely crazy. I've been teaching 7th grade for 12 years. I've seen a lot. I've broken up fights, I've handled lockdowns, but nothing prepared me for the yogurt incident. It was a Thursday. It was quiet. The students were working on some packet. And then out of nowhere, splat. Go-gurt all over the ceiling like some dairy-based grenade. And the worst part is, nobody claimed it. No one looked up, nobody laughed. They sat there like they planned it. It was driving me crazy. I filed an incident report. I even brought the janitor in to look at it so I could use him as a witness. He said, and I quote, "That's not the first yogurt I scraped off the ceiling." To this day, nobody knows who did it. But every time I see yogurt or smell yogurt, God forbid I taste yogurt, my stomach drops. Yo, Jacob got lunch detention. Lucky. They called it lunch detention. It sounded terrifying. No talking, no food, no freedom, just an empty room and shame. But then this one kid gets sent there, and he comes back looking way too happy. Everyone's like, yo, are you good? Bro, that was actually fire. Turns out, lunch detention wasn't even detention. There were snacks, there was music, there was a frickin' couch. So the teacher that was running it was super chill. People would be playing Uno in the corner. Nobody wanted to leave. So here's what happened. A while back, the principal asked this one teacher to run lunch detention. He did. Nobody ever questioned it, and the principal never checked in. He never stopped by. And like I said, that teacher, super chill. He just made it his own thing, this chill spot for students to hang out during lunch. So while the rest of the school thought it was punishment, kids were in there vibing, like it was some exclusive lunch lounge. And it lasted months before people started getting suspicious. They shut it down eventually, but to this day, it's still kind of a legend. They called it lunch detention, but it was basically club detention, right? Yo, is anybody home? Oh look, cookies. So when this kid was in school, his parents worked late. So after school, he had to walk home, an hour and a half every time his parents worked late. He hated riding the bus, so he said he'd rather walk. So because of this, he would always try to hang out at a friend's house who lived nearby, and just get picked up from there later in the night when his parents were off. Well, one day he's walking by that friend's house, and he decides to give him a call. No answer, but he remembers where they keep the spare key. For some reason, he can't explain why. He grabs the key and he lets himself in. Starts walking around the house, calling out for his friend. Yo, you home? Hello? Silence. Nobody's there. So he goes to the fridge, makes himself a sandwich, sits down on the couch, and starts watching TV. About 15 minutes in, he realizes, oh my God, I just broke into my friend's house. What am I doing? And it's not just anybody's house. His friend is Russian, and his dad is a scary Russian man who had tons of firearms. He panics, he puts the key back, and he runs out of the house. He gets home safely. His friend calls him back later that day, and he didn't suspect a thing, and he has kept that secret every single day since then. That's crazy. This happened in the school cafeteria. There was a student with a severe peanut allergy, like the kind where touching residue would send him into complete shock. Everybody knew this, it was serious. But then there was this one kid, the class bully. One day at lunch, he pulls out a Reese's peanut butter cup. You know the ones. He eats it in front of this kid with the allergy, chewing it slowly on purpose. Hey man, quit messing around, man. Okay, keep away from me. Then he licks his finger. Hey. He starts chasing the allergy kid around the cafeteria. Come on, come here. One little touch, man. Stay away from me. He's laughing like it's just some game. And then taps the kid on the arm. Within seconds, this kid's face starts swelling up. Eyes puffed shut, he falls to the ground gasping. The nurse rushes in, she uses the EpiPen, and he gets sent to the ER. He nearly died, pretty much. But the bully? 2-week suspension. That's it? That's it. That was it. The kid with the allergies' parents tried to press charges. But there was some kind of settlement. Turns out the bully's parents had a lot of money that they donated to the school. And the school buried this. Karma's gonna get that kid one day, I swear. That's messed up. Every school has a mystery. This one had a poopatrator. Okay, I'm sorry, but that's what they called him. Someone was sneaking into the bathrooms and smearing, not tagging, not vandalizing, straight up finger painting on the stalls with poop. There's been another Code Brown. I repeat, there's been another Code Brown. That's literally what they called this. It was a real phrase, a real alert. The janitor would sigh, grab his gloves, and head in. One day, a kid opens the stall and he freezes. It's art. A whole drawing smeared on the stall door. A sun drawn in the corner. A flower in the middle. A barn with a horse outside of it on the left side. All smeared in human feces. Look, dude, why is it actually good? Like, it was actually impressive. Nobody knew who was doing this, but after weeks of chaos, they caught him. Brown-handed. They caught him in the act, mid-sketch. Turns out he did this every time he went number 2. He got expelled after that. And for 2 years after that, to try to avoid copycats, they had people monitoring the bathrooms at all times. All because of one poop Picasso. That's crazy. So where's my daughter? Yeah, well, we got good news and bad news. This happened the second day of kindergarten. Ella is 5 years old. It's her second day ever riding the bus. The bus route ends at the daycare, and that's where her mom picks her up after work. But on this particular day, the bus pulls up. The kids get off, except for Ella. The daycare staff looks around. Wait a minute, where's Ella? They called her mom. Hi, did you keep Ella home from school today? Because she's not here. What? No, she was in the bus this morning. The mom calls the school. Where is my daughter? She didn't get off her bus today. I have no idea. They had no idea. They panic. The mom panics. 15 minutes later, the school calls the mom back. Hi, we know where she is. we know where she is. She had fallen asleep on the bus. The bus driver never checked the seats. They drove the bus back to the bus depot and locked the bus inside of the garage and left. Ella wakes up alone. On a dark, silent bus, and she's absolutely horrified, as you can imagine. There's no lights, there's no voices. She starts screaming. Ah! Finally, a mechanic hears her and runs over. She's in tears, she's shaking, she's hugging her backpack. The school apologized. The bus driver got fired, and that girl never took a nap on a bus ever again. I need a new egg. Oh God, you can use mine. It's physics class. This kid named Frank has a presentation, and he needs an egg for some reason. Well, he brings one from home. Just one. Before class even starts, he sees a kid in the hallway that he doesn't like, and his genius self decided to throw his only egg at this kid. He makes me so mad. Ew, what the heck? So now class is about to start, and he's just like, oh God, no, I don't have an egg anymore. I'm gonna fail. I need to find an egg. That's when some random kid who was walking by in the hallway stops and says this to him. You can borrow my egg, huh? He laughed, thinking it was a joke, but it wasn't a joke. This kid pulls out a real egg, and it has a face drawn on it. This is my son, Leonardo. Be careful with him, please. I'm gonna meet you back here after class. He hands it over like it's a sacred little egg. Frank uses it for his presentation, and he passes. The egg doesn't break. But Frank was so relieved that this all went well, when he was getting up to leave the classroom, he accidentally knocked Leonardo on the ground, and Leonardo broke open. When he met the kid outside the classroom at the end, he just handed him bits of shells and yolk. Hey man, sorry, your egg broke. My bad, but thank you. Oh! Hey, Leonardo! My boy! Can I go to the bathroom? You know the rules. This teacher had the worst bathroom policy ever. You weren't allowed to just ask. If you had to go, you had to stand up, walk to the front of the room, and explain why you deserved to go to the bathroom. Those were her words, deserved. She said it was about building confidence and reclaiming classroom trust. Mostly, she just didn't believe students were telling the truth. I've seen too many kids abuse the bathroom. If you really have to go, prove it. And so one day, this kid raises his hand. Usually, he avoids asking his teacher to use the bathroom because he just doesn't want to deal with all this. And during this class, he held it in as long as he could, but he really had to frickin' go. So he asks, Miss, can I go to the bathroom, please? You're gonna have to convince me. I'm not playing with you right now, miss. Can I please just go to the bathroom? I have to go so bad. You know the rules. Get up here and explain why you should go to the bathroom. Okay, fine. Can I do a visual demonstration? Whatever it takes. And yeah, by visual demonstration, that's exactly what he meant. This is your fault. He goes in his pants right then and right there. And the teacher, get this, she gets angry and sends him to the office. Go to the office now. He goes to the office and explains to the principal what had happened. And the principal did not take this lightly. Instead of seeing a kid disobeying a teacher's rule, he sees a teacher refusing to let students use the bathroom when they have to. After that day, in that class, if you had to use the bathroom, you were just allowed to go. And the principal gave that teacher her last warning. Yeah, she sounds horrible. This class was visiting colleges. They were all on a bus to visit one of these local colleges. Well, this junior was sitting by his girlfriend. Now, these two had been dating forever. Everyone knew them as that couple. But halfway through the bus ride, and Kevin, we gotta talk. She breaks up with him on the bus. I can't do this anymore. You're an embarrassment to me. I have bigger things I want to do with my life. And you're gonna hold me back. I'm done. We are done. Oof. And he's just taking it. She finally stops talking and he's just sitting there staring out the window. 5 minutes go by. Then he quietly stands up, lowers the window gap as far as it'll go, shimmies his way out, and jumps out of the bus while it's moving. The bus is going 35 miles per hour on the highway. Everyone's panicking. Stop the bus! Stop the bus! Oh my god, he jumped! What happened? Well, I broke up with him. He said he didn't want to be on this trip with me, and he jumped out the window. So, not my fault. Now, this kid was fine. When he jumped out, he landed on this big pile of grass on the side of the highway. Just some scrapes and bruises. But when he landed, he just stood up and just ran into the woods. Full sprint. Backpack on and everything. They had to call his parents. His parents came to the side of the road where the bus was at. Staff was sent into the woods to go find him, and they found him, sitting by a creek on a log, crying softly to himself. Hey buddy, you okay? I loved her so much. Leave me here. Leave me here. The pepperoni pizza's been eaten. How is that possible? It started with pizza. On pizza days, this cafeteria made only like 30 slices of pepperoni pizza. And when it was gone, it was gone. No backup, no mercy. And there was this one kid, let's call him Darren. He lived for that pizza. Yo, I live for that pizza. He would sprint to lunch every single pizza day just to make sure he gets it. Oh, yes. But one pizza day, he got to lunch a little late. And when he got to the front of the line, it's gone? Oh, man. Just cheese left. He was mad, but he held it in. The next pizza day, he left for lunch even earlier. He was jogging to the cafeteria, practically. I'm gonna get it this time. And again, gone. 2 pizza days in a row, gone before he even got there. On the next pizza day, just as the lunch bell was ringing, the fire alarm went off. The whole school evacuated. They were pretty sure it was a standard fire drill. It took about 30 minutes to clear. All right, single file line, everybody out of the school. Just a drill, come on. Now, like I said, this happened right before lunch even started. But when they came back in, the lunch ladies noticed that somebody ate the pepperoni pizza. How is that possible? The pepperoni tray was supposed to be sealed. The full pan, it was half gone. Well, they were obviously super curious as to where this pizza went, so they checked the cameras. Darren, in the cafeteria alone, helping himself to a tray of pepperoni while the entire school was outside. The footage had a timestamp, 12:02. That's 2 minutes after the fire alarm went off. He was suspended on the spot, and there were rumors about legal charges. But nobody knows what really happened because the kid actually never came back to that school. All we know is Darren got his pizza. but at what cost? This teacher had a secret drawer. When this guy was in 7th grade, his teacher did this weird thing. She had one drawer in her desk that she never opened. She'd grab pencils, papers, even her coffee mug from all the other drawers, but that one drawer, she would never touch. One day while she was out sick, that class had a substitute. And in the middle of a lesson, that sub needed a stapler. I need a stapler, okay. So she went over to the desk and started opening drawers. Grabbed a few things, and then she got to the forbidden drawer, and she opened it. Well, the students noticed her open this drawer. What is this? Inside the drawer was a McDonald's bag, perfectly intact. The sub went into the bag and pulled out a medium-sized McDonald's fry. What in the world? It looked normal, like it was just bought yesterday. How long has this been in there? I don't know, miss, but honestly, I would leave it. And she did. She put that right back in the drawer and closed it. The next day, the teacher was back, and everybody was dying to know what was up with those french fries. I hope you guys had a great day yesterday. Yes, I'm feeling much better. Hey, miss? Yeah, Carlos. Why do you have McDonald's fries in your drawer? The teacher just smirked. Because they never rot. I bought them 5 years ago. 5 years? Holy crap. The class was horrified. But they look completely normal. Exactly. That's why I keep them. It's my little experiment. Food should not look like that after 5 years. In that class for the rest of the year, whenever somebody brought up McDonald's or talked about food in general, she would pull out those 5-year-old McDonald's fries, just to make a point how bad fast food is for you. This teacher had the weirdest rule. So this kid, let's call him David. He was in middle school, and this one teacher had a lot of weird rules, but one rule stood out to be the most weird. At the end of every class, students were required to shake this teacher's hand before leaving. Every single day. It didn't matter if you were sick, your hands were sweaty, or you were holding all your books, you had to shake this teacher's hand. And now David, like a lot of others, thought that this was the dumbest rule ever. Like, why is this even a thing? Creep. Well, one day he decided to test it. Alright, class is over, the bell rings, everyone's lining up to shake this person's hand like he's the dang president. When it got to David, he just walked right past. Excuse me, David. Yeah, what do you think you're doing, man? I'm leaving, man. Not until you follow the rule like everybody else. I'm not shaking your hand, you weird... The whole class goes silent. The teacher, fuming. He walks to the door and he blocks it. Well, if that's the case, you're not leaving, you weird... Now David's stuck. He can't just leave, and the entire class is watching this entire thing go down. David sighs. He slowly reaches out his hand. Fine. Goes in for a handshake. That's right. Now as their hands are about to touch, David inhales and fakes a ginormous sneeze. Spit goes all over this teacher's face. You know, everybody just get out of the classroom now. Just go. The next day, the rule was gone. I guess the teacher tried talking to the principal, but the principal told him that it was kind of creepy in the first place to make all your students shake your hand before leaving class. I agree. Is this gym class? Worse. Mascot tryouts. It started with a flyer. Mascot tryouts, Friday, gymnasium. Winner gets the suit. There was a few signups on the sheet already, but this one freshman was really taking this seriously. He wanted to be the mascot. So he attends the tryouts. He shows up in gym shorts and he brought a water bottle. He's ready to wave, dance, and maybe do a backflip or something. Whatever mascots do, you know? Well, he walks in and the bleachers are packed. The gym is set up like a full-blown obstacle course. We're talking cones, hurdles, floor mats, tunnels. And the seniors are lining the walls, each of them holding a dodgeball. He's confused. He's like, what the heck is this? Well, one student with a clipboard stands up and shouts, "Contestant 7, step up, please." And that's him. He steps up to the line and he's about to go through this obstacle course. The whistle blows. The first section, crawl under chairs without tipping them. Easy. Next were the hurdles. He clears them. Then he hits the gauntlet. He has to get from one side of the gym to the other. But as he crosses, the seniors with the dodgeballs are chucking it at him. Well, he tucks and he sprints. He takes one to the face, but he keeps moving. He makes it through and the gym is going crazy. The final challenge is called Protect the Cone. It's a single orange traffic cone sitting on a mat. They hand him a foam baton and say, "All right, final challenge, don't let anyone touch the cone for 30 seconds. Okay. And suddenly students are charging towards the cone from every direction. He spins, dives, blocks one with his leg, and time. The gym erupts. Then quiet. The judges, who are just seniors in safety vests, they huddle up. Judges, come on. So what do we think? Huh? After a few seconds, one of them yells, "We have a new mascot!" They hand him the suit. They tell him first game's on Friday. And he shows up. And he absolutely crushes it. This petty principal sucks. One day at this high school, a student came into class 10 minutes late. His first period, he was still rubbing the sleep out of his eyes. Well, the principal just so happened to be doing classroom check-ins that morning. In that classroom. "You're late, Anthony. Why?" "I missed the bus. I ran here. I'm so sorry." "Not good enough. Come with me." She pulls him out in the hallway and just starts laying into him, but she didn't close the classroom door, so that entire class was watching, like, what the heck? You think the world's gonna care? You show up late to a job, you're done. You show up late to college, they drop you. Life's not gonna babysit you, Anthony. Anthony stays quiet. Then she says, "Maybe if you got your life together, you would stop showing up late." That's when Anthony finally let loose. "You want to talk about getting my life together? I get up at 5 a.m. to get my little brother ready for school because nobody else will. I pack his lunch, I make sure he eats, I try to make the bus, but if I miss it, I run here as fast as I can. So don't stand there and talk to me like I'm just some lazy kid. No, you want to lecture somebody? Why don't you start with yourself? At least I'm showing up and still doing something that matters. I'm not just clocking in for a paycheck and going home to a life I hate." If being a bitter old hag was a subject, you'd be an A+ student. Now get out of my face. Dead silent classroom, dead silent hallway. One student in the classroom whispered, "Ain't no way she's coming back from that. Ain't no way." From that day on, Anthony was a legend, and the principal, well, she stopped doing classroom check-ins in that class. Good for him. "Mister, I need a pencil." "Well, then you know what to do." There was this one English teacher at this one school that had a full-blown ritual just for handing out pencils. But it wasn't funny, it wasn't goofy, it was actually kind of unsettling. He called it the ceremony. And it happened every single time somebody asked for a pencil. You couldn't just say, "Can I borrow one?" You had to raise your hand and say, "I seek the tool of wisdom." And if you said it wrong, he would just stare at you, dead silent, until you said it right. Then he would unlock a little drawer, which he called the vault. He'd slowly remove one pencil and hold it up in the air, like it was sacred. Sometimes he would even close his eyes. Yes. And before he would hand it over, he would look at the entire class and go, "Together now? Use it well, write with honor." He said this binded the exchange. And if somebody in the class didn't say it with everybody, he would just hold onto the pencil and wait. And here's the part that really unsettled people. If you disrespected the ceremony, like if you laughed or whispered or rolled your eyes, he would mark your name down in a little red notebook. Didn't say anything, he just wrote your name down. And people swore. Every time he did that, there was a pop quiz the next day. Got to the point where people stopped forgetting to bring their pencils to class. Not because they were just more prepared, but because they were terrified to ask the teacher for one. This teacher straight up embarrassed herself. Back in 3rd grade, this teacher was doing a lesson on animals. So, can anybody name me a mammal? This one kid, we'll call him Mason, raised his hand excitedly. "Oh, a platypus!" The teacher kind of frowned. "No, sweetie, mammals don't lay eggs, and platypuses lay eggs. It's a bird." "You are wrong." Mason looked confused. "But the platypus is a mammal." "Don't you argue with me, it's unbecoming." "I'm not arguing, Now you're being disrespectful." Mason just sat there quietly. But that night, he did some work of his own. The next day, Mason came into school with printouts, scientific articles, diagrams, highlighted textbook pages. This kid had evidence. He was ready to prove this teacher wrong. So in class, he walked right up to her desk, and in front of the entire class, he said, "Excuse me? Just so you know, the platypus is a mammal. Look, it lays eggs, but it still makes milk, and that's what makes it a mammal." I've been teaching for 15 years. I think, yeah, and you've been wrong for every single one of them. Boom. Class exploded. At this point, the teacher was fuming. "Go to the office now." But when he explained what happened to the principal, even the principal was like, "Yeah, man, you're right. Platypus is a mammal." and he didn't get in trouble at all. After that day, Mason never got another question wrong on that class because she never called on him again. This dude had a super weird experience at a friend's house. This kid said he used to hang out at a friend's place after school. Nice house, quiet neighborhood, totally normal. But every time he walked in that house, the mom would always say the exact same thing. Shoes off, kids, and don't touch the walls. Now at first, this kid thought that this lady was just a clean freak. Until one day, when he leaned on a wall, barely. She came around the corner instantly, like she'd been watching. She didn't yell, she didn't get mad, she just handed him a paper towel and pointed at the spot. Wipe it until it's gone, please. The weird part? There was nothing on the wall. No smudge, no print, no mark, but he just wiped it anyway. What is going on? Later that night, he asked his friend what that was all about. Yo, what was that all about? His friend just said, she thinks that walls remember everything. Like if you touch a wall or lean on it, you leave a piece of yourself behind. Your mom's nuts. Whatever, he went home and he just tried to forget about that weird moment, but a week later, he heard that his friend's house had been repainted, the entire interior. When he asked his friend what the reason was, his friend replied, my mom said too many people touched the walls, so she repainted it to give the house a fresh start. Bro, what? That mom might need a little help, okay? A subscriber's 5th grade story. So this one comes from a subscriber who said, back in 5th grade, his homeroom teacher was just completely mean, always mad about something. Well, one day in class, his friend made a funny face at him, and he giggled. That's it. Just a giggle, no big deal, right? Well, when he got home that day, his parents were furious. They said that the teacher had emailed them, saying that he was laying on the ground laughing at the teacher, making fun of her, and mocking her, which never happened. He tried to explain, that's not what happened, I was just giggling at my friend. And his parents didn't believe him. And this didn't just happen once. It happened again and again and again. Each time the teacher would exaggerate a straight up lie in these emails home. Eventually his parents started to notice that something was off, and they brought it up to the principal. But the teacher didn't stop. One day she gave him 2 detentions back to back. And during one of those detentions, she walked into the room and said to his face, you know something, you should really stop doing sports because you're obviously never gonna make it anywhere. You should just focus on your schoolwork and maybe you won't end up in detention. Okay? Have a good one. Bro. Once his parents found out that she said that, they told the principal. Once the principal found out that she said that, she was done. She got fired. Good riddance. His friend's house had the weirdest rule ever. This dude said when he was younger, he was spending the weekend at one of his friend's house. They were in the kitchen getting snacks when his friend casually said, hey bro, don't eat the last chip. He grabbed the chip bag that his friend was talking about. He opened it and looked inside. There was literally 1 chip left in this bag. 1 chip. Why not? Because the last chip is for the house. What? He laughed. He thought he was joking and he popped that chip in his mouth. He ate it. Okay. A few moments later, the mom walked into the kitchen and saw that the last chip had been eaten from this chip bag. Who finished it? There was only 1 chip left. She just stared at him. That doesn't matter. The last chip is for the house. Always. He figured it was just a weird moment. Him and his friend went about their night. They were playing video games, just chilling. The next morning, this kid goes looking for some cereal in a cabinet, and that's when he saw it. Dozens of snack bags, all of them open, each with exactly 1 chip left. At this point, he was like, what is going on with this family? Bro, what is this? That's the house's cabinet, and those are the house's chips. Did you not listen to my mom yesterday? Bro, what? At that point, this kid was just hungry. He called his mom, and she came to pick him up. What is with these weird families, man? It's the middle of summer. No breeze, just that sticky sidewalk melting heat. And then the ice cream truck song. Every kid in the neighborhood stops when they hear it. Oh my god, it's here, guys, it's here! Yes! But it wasn't the ice cream truck. It was just Tyler, 11 years old, Bluetooth speaker in one hand and a cooler on wheels in the other. He's playing the ice cream jingle off a YouTube video. They just started walking the block. Well, kids come running out with cash. Wait, are you selling? Yep, got the stuff in my cooler. The prices are on the lid. He flips open the cooler. He's got everything. SpongeBob pops, those like like Bomb Pops, the strawberry shortcake ones, all perfectly frozen, bought in bulk from Costco. This kid is killing it. And the thing is, he would undercut the prices of the actual ice cream truck by $1, so his stuff was cheaper. By week 2, people were texting him to have them come by their house or their birthday party. It was a full-blown business. The real ice cream truck, out of respect, stopped showing up to this neighborhood altogether. This kid turned a Bluetooth speaker and a cooler full of ice cream into a full-blown empire, and that summer he made over $500. You gotta respect the hustle. This happened in elementary school. A kid gets called out in class. Tyler, that is not appropriate. Go to the office. Then without a word, he stands up, sprints out of the classroom, and runs straight out the front school doors. And just like that, he's gone. The principal gets called. Yeah, we got a runner. They can't find him anywhere. 15 minutes later, the school's on full lockdown. People are starting to actually panic at this point. They call the kid's parents. They come, they're furious. They're freaking out. Where's my son? Where's my son? Police cars surround the building. A helicopter is hovering above. A freaking helicopter. They start searching the woods behind the school. Hours go by. A SWAT team looking unit shows up, and they find him a mile away, sitting in a lonely patch of grass, eating a Snickers. Tyler, what are you doing out here, man? I got stressed, and the Snickers, it helps me relax. I feel much better now, by the way. They escort him back. The kid got suspended and his parents had to take him to therapy for a bit. Had to figure out why he would do this in the first place, but still, that day is still known as the Great Tyler Lockdown. That's insane. This school had a villain. A mayonnaise villain. Every few days, students would be walking up the main staircase when you would hear, "Ugh, gross." Somebody would scream, hold up their hand, and it would be covered in mayonnaise. The mayonnaise wouldn't be on top of the railing, it would be underneath. It started in the cafeteria stairwell. Then it spread. Math hallway, science wing became a problem. You'd think that they would install cameras or that they would have cameras in the stairwells, but they didn't. So now everyone's terrified of touching railings because obviously some kid has been taking mayonnaise and smearing it under the railings in every single staircase in the school. And it wasn't like a little bit of mayonnaise, it was a lot. Kids are just walking up the stairs now with their hands to their sides because no one's gonna touch that stuff. And nobody knows who's doing this. The janitors are mad, the teachers are furious, the principal makes an announcement. Please, whoever's putting mayonnaise under the railings, stop it! It never stops. There was breaks for a few months, but it never stopped. Until one day, it did, 2 years later. And people assume it's because the mayonnaise bandit graduated. But even still, after that, the legend lives on forever. That's disgusting. It started with a rule. The dress code is to promote professionalism. No crop tops, no tank tops, no ripped jeans. Girls' pants can't be above their ankles. Some real crazy dress code stuff. Well, this girl had enough, and she wants to do something about it. So one day, she shows up to school in a full-body horse costume. Yes, I know it's a llama mask, but I don't have a horse mask, so bear with me. Mane, hooves, tail, covered head to toe. And technically, this horse costume followed every single rule. That's not professional. Show me where it says no horses. They couldn't do anything, because there was no rule in the handbook that said no costumes or no horses. There was no skin showing, her ankles were covered by the horse costume. Like I said, she knew the handbook better than the teachers and the principal did. But the thing is, the teachers were obsessed with this. One teacher would bring her carrots every morning. Hey, horse girl, I got a carrot for you. That's hilarious. One teacher said, "You're my hero." Even the lunch lady would start neighing whenever she saw her. She wore this horse costume every single day for 3 straight weeks. But then the school finally added a new rule. No costume wear. So this kid gets yelled at for not turning in math homework. Teacher goes, "You'll never make it in the real world like this." And the kid said, "I'm not trying to make it in your world." Class laughs, the teacher's annoyed. Well, here's the thing. This kid's been working with his cousin on buying and fixing up old vending machines. They would then stock it and put it places. By senior year, he's got a handful of these vending machines. And he's pulling more money from these machines than most people make at full-time jobs. And it reminded me of this book I read, 5 Types of Wealth. It'll help you rethink how you're living your life and how you're spending your time. And what this book goes over will lead to success and happiness in multiple areas of your life. I promise.
আপনি যে কি করে আপনার তাতে কোনো কনসেন্স নেই আমার বাসায় কিছু সবাই দেখে ফেলে
রাত 10টায় আমি ফোন দিব আর একবারের বেশি যদি রিং হয় মামা মালটা তো জোস সরি ভাবি কি পারবি তুই দেখ কিভাবে কই সেটিং মিটিং নাই তো সেটিং মানে বুঝো না পেন্টিরিতি ও তো আমাদের ভাবি হয় ওই হিসাবে আমাদের বিয়ে হিসাব আপনি
আচ্ছা দাঁড়া, ওয়েট কর, আমাকে একটু ভাবতে দে। দেখি কি করা যায়। দোস্ত তুই থাক, আমি আমি যাই।
আমি থাকবো মানে
তুই থাক, তুই থাক দোস্ত।
রক্ত লাগবে রে। রক্ত? আসবো না মানে?
হ্যাঁ তাই তো শুনলাম।
আসবো না, ঠিক আছে, দেখতেছি ব্যাপারটা। যাও।
কি রে, তুই কোচিং এ যাস না কেন?
দোস্ত আমি কোচিং এ কিভাবে যাব বল? এই গুন্ডাটা যে আমাকে ডিস্টার্ব করে, তুই দেখতেই তো পারছস, ডেইলি আমার পিছনে লাগে থাকে।
আমার ভালোবাসার গল্পটা অপূর্ণ রয়ে গেল। গলবে, পাখির মন গলবে, এমন মন্ত্র দেব।
এভাবে রাস্তাঘাটে একটা মেয়েকে উত্তক্ত করে আর নিজের গায়ে রক্ত দিয়ে
হ্যালো,
হেই হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ প্র্যাঙ্ক ম্যান।
কে?
একটু হলেই তো তোমার ফোন হাওয়া হয়ে যেত।
তুই তোর ফোন আর কোনোদিন পাবি না।
কেন?
তোর বাবা তো তোর ফোনটাকে একদম আছাড় দিয়ে ভেঙে শেষ, এমনকি পানিতে চুবাইছে।
আউট অফ কিউরিয়াসিটি হয়তো দেখা করব, বাট আই এম নট দ্যাট মাচ ইজি, অলওয়েজ রিমেম্বার।
আজকে যদি তারাটা থাকতো আজকে তো দিতাম একদম। এই খালি স্কার্টেন গার্ডেন।
এই যে আপু, এসব গার্ডেন ফার্ডেন যায় না, আমার ভাই ব্রাদাররা আছে, আপনার একদম কামড়ায় দিবে। না 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 ব্রো, এই যে আপনার ফোন প্র্যাঙ্ক ছিল ব্রো, চিল চিল চিল। রাকিব ভাই, আপনি এসআই রাকিব ভাই না? আপনার কথা আমি অনেক শুনছি। আপনি কিন্তু মানে বুঝের লোক। পেজে তোলেন।
এই হোসেন আলী ক্যামেরা আগেই কইছিলাম আমার বস ফেমাস। হ্যাঁ 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 ভাই একটু যদি ধরতে।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ শিওর।
স্যার কিভাবে যে কনফার্ম হয়?
এটা তো এদিকে না, 3 নাম্বার গেট ওইদিকে, শঙ্কর গলি বোধহয় গেটের বাইরে। আপনি ভুল আসছেন, যান।
ভুল আসছে, কিন্তু আমি কি চিনতে পারবো?
ও আচ্ছা, আপনি দ্যাট বোরখা গার্ল।
চিনতে পেরেছো তাহলে না?
আই লাইক গুড গার্লস। ফলো কর তো, ফলো কর, যা। এতে কই যায় দেখবি, যা। তাহলে জীবনে প্রথম কাউরে প্র্যাঙ্ক করতে যায়, নিজেই আজকে প্র্যাঙ্ক হয়ে গেল।
তুমি আমাকে বলেছো যে তুমি তোমার কোনো বয়ফ্রেন্ড নাই।
না না, বয়ফ্রেন্ড না, আমি ওর বয়ফ্রেন্ড, আমি ওর ফিয়ান্সে। ওর সাথে আমার বিয়ে নেক্সট।
ও আচ্ছা আচ্ছা,
আমার জন্য?
এটা তোমার জন্য, একটা নতুন ফোন দিলাম।
এই জন্য তাহলে তোমরা এতক্ষণ নাটক করছো?
নাটক না, তোমার ফোনটা পুরনো হয়ে গেছে।
কেন
নতুন ফোন।
আমরা প্র্যাঙ্ক করতে পারি না?
একটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট কথা ছিল তোমার সাথে। এমন করলে কেমন হয় যদি এই এন্টারটেইনমেন্ট জার্নিতে আমি জয়েন করি তোমার সাথে?
আরে বেন সাহেব, নতুন নতুন সম্বন্ধ তো তাই চিনতে পারেন নাই। ওই যে আপনার বান্ধবী তুলি আছে না?
আপনি যে কি করে আপনার মাথায় কোনো কমন সেন্স নেই? আমার বাসায় যদি সবাই দেখে ফেলে।
রাত 10টায় আমি ফোন দিব, আর একবারের বেশি যদি রিং হয়। মামা, মালটা তো জোস। সরি সরি সরি, ভাবি। তুই যা, তুই পারবি, তুই পারবি। দেখ কিভাবে কই। সেটিং মেটিং নাই তো? সেটিং মানে বুঝো না, পেন্টের ইতি।
সবে ইন্টার সেকেন্ড ইয়ারে পড়ি।
সেকেন্ড ইয়ারে এখন ক্লাস 9 এর পোলাবেনও প্রেম করে।
মামা মায়া তো অস্থির। এক্সকিউজ মি আপু, এক্সকিউজ মি, আপনার নামটা যদি বলতেন একটু।
শুনেন বেঞ্চ সাহেব, আমার বন্ধু দিশান, ঠিক আছে? আপনার বান্ধবীরে শুনো। মারি নাই তো, শাসন করছি। ভালো লাগে না, একটু মারতেই পারি, তাহলে কিন্তু খুব খারাপ হয়ে যাবে। তুই রবিল নামে সুন্দর একটা রিক্সা ডাক।
ভাবি তুমি কি আমার বন্ধু দিশান দেখতে, প্লিজ ভাবি আপনি একটু নেন প্লিজ ভাবি। দেখেন ভাবি,
কালকে সারা রাত তোমার আমি কল দিচ্ছি।
তাহলে আপনি শুনুন আপনার ভালোবাসার মানুষের অতীত বর্তমান। পাগল কোন একদম ঠিক হয় না, ওনার ব্যথা লাগে নাই।
ব্যথা তো বেশি তুই।
তুহিনের ব্যথা লাগছে না?
বন্ধু তুই চিন্তা করিস না রে, ভাবির মন ঠিকই গলে যাবে।
ভাবের মন তো গলবে, কিন্তু